Hi, everyone, and welcome to the event. So sorry for the sort of technical issues that we had, but now we're ready to go, and we're so excited to have you all here. It's so great to see how many people are joining, and nice to see so many people from very different countries as well. So welcome, Berta, welcome, Ivy, Maggie. Yeah, so great to see you all. And feel free to type into the chat where you're from and how long you've been using Notion. And yeah, we'd love to get to know you as well. So the first thing we'll be doing is, yeah, today's event is all about creating a website with Notion. And basically, we'll be going over the itinerary first, which is that we'll have an introduction. We'll discuss why Notion is great as a website builder, some best tips for creating a website with Notion, as well as building a simple website in Notion. And then we'll follow that with a Q&A. And finally, we'll show you how to download all of our freebies. So first, let's go over our introduction. I'm going to be letting some people into the waiting room. Yep. Welcome, Jen from Florida. Great. So yeah, the introduction. So first of all, who we are. So we specialize in designing Notion templates that help you optimize workflow, organize data, and increase productivity. Be sure to check out our website and template store. We're run by two passionate Notion creators. My name is Sarah, and Anne will be managing the chat today. So whenever someone answers on the chat, that'll be Anne. And we have a lot of freebies and free resources for beginners to get started with Notion. So yeah, a few notes about the event. Make sure to add your comments and questions into the chat. Please keep the conversation respectful and about the event. And just a friendly reminder, this chat is for discussing about this event and Notion related topics. Messages not related to these will be moderated and removed if needed. So before we dive deeper into creating a website with Notion, we just wanted to ask you all to go ahead and start voting for your favorite third-party tool that you'd like to see built into the template today that we'll be building together. So we'll explain more about this later, but just so that we get the vote started, feel free to vote your favorites from video platforms, online stores, calendar scheduling tools. There's so many third-party apps that work really well inside of Notion for Notion sites. And we'll be leaving the link to the top 10 embed apps into your Notion website. So you can also browse through that. But basically, here are the options that we could include in our Build With Me session. We'll choose the top 3 most voted to build into the template today. So the first is YouTube, second Loom, which is sort of a video clip service. So you can easily answer questions or give sort of a brief overview of any topics. Google Maps, Tally Forms, and Typeform, which are both form builders. So you can make things like contact forms and quizzes. Senja is a testimonial tool that we really like, so you can showcase all of your testimonials from your customers and clients. Gumroad and Lemon Squeezy are payment gateway tools that we've had some experience with. Calendly is a calendar booking tool. And then finally, we have Google Calendar. So be sure to get started with the vote. We'll explain more later, but just so that you know, we'll be including the top 3 into our build today. So be sure to vote for your favorite. So let's go into why Notion as a website builder. So what you can create, so first of all, feel free to type into the chat, have you ever used Notion to publish a landing page or a quick site? So feel free to let us know what your experience has been, what has been your use cases, specifically with Notion. So the first thing you can create with Notion sites are blogs. So you can add your own articles and things like that, especially for personal blogging. It could be really nice. You can also create landing pages, portfolio websites, company docs, and resumes and CVs can also be published to the web as a Notion site. And Notion released some really great updates recently regarding Notion sites. So we're super excited about incorporating all of these little features that before you would have to actually use a third-party service to customize in that way. So now you could do everything inside of Notion, which makes it a little bit easier because Notion can be a little bit complicated at times. So pros of using Notion sites, first of all, is that there's no coding required. You just simply drag and drop the blocks. You don't need any custom code or web developers to publish the website. So in a sense, if you do choose to create solely on Notion, it's really no code and very simple from start to finish. It has a very user-friendly interface. So Notion is excellent for creating simple websites due to its versatility and it's great for company websites, blogs, personal resumes, and portfolios. So especially when you need something quick and easy to share, Notion can be a great option so that you don't have to go through a full web creating service. You can also publish pages yourself. So all it takes to publish a page to the web is just a single click. There's no need to worry about enlisting designers or engineers to build or expand your site. So you can swiftly and effortlessly make any Notion page public. It'll be accessible via a link you share or even searchable through search engines if you turn that setting on. So the next great thing for Notion users is that you can now connect a custom domain to Notion. So this is one of the huge features that Notion has rolled out with its Notion sites. And it's really great for individuals who want to publish an official landing page. So before, if it was just notion.site, it does look a little bit less professional than if you have your full domain with your brand name there. So that's a really great feature that they have released. And yeah, it just makes it really easy to make your information public to the web. So here are some cons of building a website in Notion. So there is limited customization. So in some ways, it's nice because it's so simple, but on the downside, it's that you kind of have to work with what you have if you only use Notion as your website builder. So Notion lacks the design options and custom code of dedicated web development platforms, limiting your website's look and feel. So many Notion websites tend to look more just like Notion, but in a web page format. We do hope that there's going to be a little bit more customization coming in the future, and this is just the first step in that direction for Notion. Then there is also some SEO limitations. So Notion isn't really built for web development and it lacks a little bit of SEO features, potentially affecting search engine visibility. So you can sort of add some SEO features, but it is a little bit lacking. There's some also potential performance issues. So Notion pages might load slower than those built with dedicated tools. Since Notion is kind of an all-in-one tool, it's kind of meant to work in a way that it's great for both your personal use and also published to the web. So it might be that it could be slower depending on the situation. The next thing is the best tips to create a website with Notion. So the first thing you'll want to do when thinking about creating a website with Notion is to define your goals. So first of all, are you looking to showcase your work, attract potential clients, or simply share your ideas? So your goals are going to really structure the content of your website. The thing you can also do is use pre-designed templates. So now Notion has a huge selection of website building templates that you can find, which allows you to save more time and let you focus on the actual content rather than the actual building of the website. Some customizations that you can do is the website theme, header, navigation bar, and you can also add Google Analytics. So one of the big changes that Notion has made regarding with Notion sites is this top bar here. So you can actually add different sort of links on the top bar. And then you can also decide whether or not you want to show the duplicate button or the search option. And the other thing is that you can also leverage embedded apps, and this is where our voting comes in. So we're going to be talking more heavily about embedding apps today, as well as the building aspect, because that's one way you can really customize the website. And yeah, we've also enjoyed embedding so many things, and it's one of the things that many people might not realize about Notion is that you can really do a lot of embedding tools, forms, and so on, so that it becomes a lot more customized. So here are the apps that we'll be discussing today, and make sure to cast your vote, which one you'd like. So there's YouTube, Loom, Google Maps, Tally Forms, Typeform, Senja, Gumroad Store, Lemon Squeezy, Calendly, and Google Calendar. So be sure to put your vote into the chat, and we will select the top 3 to build. So we'll just leave a moment so that you can vote for your favorite third-party tools. Awesome and great to see everyone voting. So keep voting. We're also going to be showing you some previews of some of our website template as well. So at the end of that, we're going to choose the top 3. And if you're over on YouTube as well, make sure to vote there. We forgot to mention that there's a bit of a lag between YouTube and Zoom. So if you want a more interactive experience, be sure to join our Zoom. Next, we're going in the build with me section. And the first thing we wanted to do is just show you an example of a simple website that we've built. And it's one of our freebie templates. So we'll also show you how to download that towards the end of the session. But we're just going to go ahead and show you this link. And now you should be able to see it here. So this is one of our website templates. And basically we have some various sections. So here in the left-hand corner, we have this navigation section. So you can go easily to your home, your store, your blog. We also included a page for coaching services, for example, about us, and a contact section. So it's very basic, but it's quite easy to build a website template inside Notion. So we'll be guiding you step by step and adding also the third-party tools that we shared with you for the voting. So now if we go back to our Notion, we are here. So make sure to cast your final votes, and let's see what Anne has. calculated as the top 3 votes. Okay, great. So we have the winner, which is Google Calendar, Loom, and Tally. So this is very exciting because we actually really like Tally as a form builder. And of course, Loom is also one of our favorite tools, although we've recently switched over to Zoom Clips, but Loom is such a good tool, especially to help customers. And yeah, Google Calendar is also really great as well. So yeah, we're excited to show you more about that. We might also include some additional extras that you all voted for as we build this website template. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have an empty Notion page. So if you are already on Notion and you want to follow along, feel free to also open up your own Notion and just follow along with this session. And this will be recorded. So if you need to rewatch any parts, you can find it in our YouTube video. So let's go ahead and get started. So when we first open up an empty Notion page, one of the first things that we like to do is to go to the top 3 dots in the right-hand corner and turn on small text full width. So this allows you to have more space on the Notion page, and especially for sort of a website Notion template, this is really great. So we would recommend you to turn those on. The next thing you can do is to add a cover photo and add an icon. So let's go ahead and click add cover. We can go ahead and change the cover, and we will choose something from Unsplash for now. But if you have your own business or some kind of custom cover photo, you can also use Upload. We'll just look for something relating to productivity. And we can just choose one of these, for example, this one. And then we can go ahead and add an icon. Maybe we'll put something with a pencil like this. And we basically have a personal website template here. And you can also title this either your name or your business name, for example. And in the icon slot as well, you can also add your own logo by going to custom and then uploading the file. So there's a lot of choices here as well. You can also opt not to have any of these. So if you want a really minimal, simple design, that's also very possible. So the next thing we're going to do now that we have the cover photo and the icon is to start building the page layout. So we tend to like to work with 2 columns, especially in our desktop. So we're going to go ahead and type /column. And on the left-hand side, we can put a sort of navigation system. And on the right-hand side, we can keep our content here. So if we could, for example, a call-out box here, we can add a navigation call-out box. So we're going to type /callout. And let's go ahead and call this navigation. And normally we also like to store our databases whenever we create Notion pages or dashboards. But in the case of a website, since it's mostly accessed from the web, we're just going to be using mainly inline databases, which are basically databases that are already on the page, and also just text and images. So we're going to go ahead and have this highlighted and click bold. We'll also change this icon here into something more like this list, like this. And then we can start building our page structure inside of here. So we'll start first by adding some content on the right-hand side, and then we'll start adding some more pages into the navigation side. So here what we could add is, for example, a call-out box or a welcome message. So if we had, for example, a welcome message, we could put / heading, maybe 1, welcome. And then you could type your welcome message here. And then what you could do is to continue writing more. So if you have some sample text, and then we just duplicate this so that it looks a bit more. You can kind of imagine what it could look like. And then here you could sort of write your name, sign it off, something like this, best wishes, and your name. And then under here, you could add sort of your messages that to further explain your business or images as well. In our case, we're just going to actually fill this area by pasting in our Gumroad store. So although it wasn't one of the top chosen ones, it kind of makes sense in this context. So let's say that you are trying to showcase your Notion templates. You can actually just add a Gumroad link here. So we're just going to go ahead and show you that real quick. We won't go into the very big details here, but if we go now to our share and we share with you this one. And let's say that we go to our Gumroad. Here. So then we can just simply copy this link to our store. So no matter what kind of store you have, you can actually basically just paste that in. So we're going to copy this. And then if we go back to our Notion page here, then we can go ahead and paste it in and then choose embed. So then what happens is we basically have our store embedded in here. You can actually pull this down so that you have more space here as well, like this. We're actually going to also make it a little smaller so you can see. And basically then you have your storefront here as well. And for example, if you wanted to click this, you can actually access everything in here like this. And people wouldn't have to go outside of your website. So this is kind of a good idea as well if you're just starting out and need somewhere simple to have your landing page. So now that you have your first page here, what we can do is start building the navigation bar. So what we can do is to first put a home page. So the home page basically means that people who click the link can go back to this page. So to build that, we're going to type // button and click button. And then this is going to be called return home. And when the button is clicked, the action is going to be that they go here and then it's going to be full page. So we're going to add action and it's going to be to open a page. And we're going to open a selected page. So this is going to be our personal website template. And then we can click here and then we can choose full page. So this means that whenever they click here, it's going to open everything up in full page. And then we can click done and then we can move it under the navigation here. So now if we, for example, click return home, nothing happens because we're already here. We can go ahead and click this gear icon here so that we can add a little emoji as well or icon. So we're going to add a house so that it shows up kind of like this, and then you can easily return home. So Maggie asked, with the resizing, does it auto resize on different screens so people would still see the full store? So it basically, something that's not so great about Notion is the way that the columns kind of work. But for the most part, if you're working on your desktop and then let's say that you move to a phone it should resize correctly. It's just going to move all your columns into one column. So after the return home, let's go ahead and start adding some pages. So the top voted ones this time were Google Calendar, Loom, and Tally. So let's go ahead and let's add a, for example, calendar page here. So we're going to go ahead and click the plus button and then add /page. And then in here, let's say that you're going to store your calendar. And then we can go ahead and click here, do the small text full width again. And then you can add an icon, for example, a calendar. And then we can click here. And then what we can do now is actually start using the navigation bar as a sync block. This is one of our favorite tricks in Notion. So basically, we're starting to build this callout box here with the navigation system. So if we click this, and then we do turn into, and then sync block, you can basically paste this in anywhere, and it's going to show exactly the contents here. If you update it, it's also going to update in all the other sections. So if we add this link to our calendar, so we're going to type /column, 2 columns, and then we're going to paste it in. And in this case, oh, that's not the correct link. Let's go back. So we're going to click here and copy link to block. We're going to go to calendar and then paste it in, and then we're going to choose synced block. So when we choose sync block, it basically shows exactly what was in the home page and it syncs itself. So if we go to home, it also returns home. Now we can go to calendar. And this is a really good way to navigate across multiple pages. So now if we start adding the calendar, we can now add the Google Calendar. So obviously you can also add a Notion calendar. So in this case, maybe we'll show you both scenarios so that you can see sort of 2 different options with this. So let's say that we have /heading 3 calendar. So let's say that this is a Notion calendar, meaning a Notion database. So you would add all of your calendar entries inside of here. Then you would type /calendar and just put one in here. And you can do plus new calendar. And you can title this calendar. And then you can hide the database title. And you can add calendar entries inside here to showcase on your website. So that's one way to do it. So if we return home now and we go to calendar, we see a calendar. The other option you can do is to do the Google Calendar. So that's the next thing we'll be showing you. And with Google Calendar, if we now go here and /heading 3, so let's say we have the Google Calendar, we can move this under here, /divider, and then inside here, we could paste in a Google Calendar. So pasting in a Google Calendar means that the Google Calendar actually has to be public, which means that anyone can access the Google Calendar and see all of the events in it. So you might not want to add things that are personal information or keep things maybe vague so that it doesn't show everything, but it could be a really good way to show sort of your business or other events that might be happening that you want your potential customers, clients, or anyone accessing the website to see. So if we go ahead and we go back to Google Calendar, we can show you how to set that up. So if we go here, then we're going to go to our Google Chrome. And we are here now. Then what we can do is we can go to Google Calendar. And then, see, we're here. So here we are in the sample calendar. So basically, if you have a Google Calendar account, the steps you would need to take in order to add a Google Calendar to your Notion website would be as follows. So if we go back here, you can see here various calendars. And if you have a specific calendar that you want to share, you can go ahead and click the three dots next to that calendar, go to settings and sharing. And then if we go down and then we go to the public URL to this calendar, this is the URL that's going to be shown if you share the calendar. So we're going to go ahead and copy the link here. And basically what you'll need to do also is to make sure that this is made available to the public. So all of this is necessary in order to share your Google Calendar to Notion. So now that we copied the link here, this one here, and one more thing to note is that you can actually also customize the calendar. So if you click here, there's some customization options as well. So that's also important to note. And if we go back and we click here, so now if we go back to our Notion, we can now go ahead and paste it in. So we're going to paste it and then we're going to embed. So this is basically what the Google Calendar could look like if you add it inside of a Notion page. So as you can see, you don't really see too much information here, and it's not the nicest looking calendar, but if you wanted to sync so that if you updated that calendar in Google and you wanted to actually show up inside of your Notion and you don't have to add any work in order to add them in here, you might want to consider adding an embedded Google Calendar. So that is how we would do with the Google Calendar. And yeah, feel free to let us know if you have any questions regarding the Google Calendar. So now that we have these two calendars shown here, we can start working on our next page. So since this is a synced block, we don't really have to go all the way home to create the pages through the home page. So we can also go in calendar and then we can click the plus sign here to add a new page. So now we're in a new page and let's go ahead and add our next integration and third-party tool that people voted for. So the next thing people voted for was also Tally. So let's go ahead and add Tally here. So one of our favorite and easiest things to add with Tally is a contact form. So the other thing that's great about Tally is that it's free to start using it. Of course, it's going to be branded with Tally, but compared to something like Typeform, you don't really need to pay per response. So here we're going to add a contact form. And actually, before we add the contact form, one thing that might make things simpler is actually if we go ahead and duplicate this calendar so that the format is exactly the same. So we might also do something like that. So we were gonna, if we duplicate the calendar page into here, and then we delete this one, it's gonna keep the exact formatting inside. So now we have a calendar page here, and we can now rename this one into contact. And we can change the icon to, for example, send or email, maybe something like this. And instead of the Notion calendar, we can put a contact form. And what we can do now is delete these. So we can highlight this and click delete, highlight and click delete. And now we basically have an empty place to embed. So now let's actually go over to Tally. And form building can also be quite tricky in the sense that there's a lot you can customize. So we won't do any really crazy forms, but we'll just show you a basic contact form. So if we go ahead and go back to our Google Chrome, and then we go to Tally. So if we are here, so here we have Tally. So we're already logged in, but if it's your first time using it, you can easily create an account in Tally. Yeah, so now when we have Tally here, the first thing you would need to do is basically to click plus new form. And one of the other things that we like about Tally is how sort of seamless it looks in Notion. So if we go ahead and click plus new form, as you can see, it's kind of similar to Notion style in the sense that you type the title, let's say contact form, and then you would type slash like this. And you have all of these options that show up when you type slash, similar to Notion. So if you're a Notion user, Tally is going to be pretty intuitive to use. And if you don't want to actually build from scratch, especially with a contact form, what we like to do is just click get started with templates. And once we're here, oh, actually, we have to go to templates, and then we can go to contact form. So this is our favorite contact form on Tally that we like to embed. So if we go ahead and click this contact form here, you can now see this one like this. And then you can click use this template. So again, this is very similar setup to Notion. So we would click use this template. And then it basically loads into Tally like this. And all you would need to do is click publish. And as soon as you click publish, it's already there. So all you have to do is copy the link to share. And one thing to note is that you basically can keep track of your submissions through the contact form here, and then you would see all of the submissions. So let's go ahead and go to our share here, and then we go to copy link to share. And then if we go back to our Notion, we can now go ahead and paste this in and then embed. So as you can see, it does have this Tally branding if you're on the free plan, but it's not really that intrusive either. And the fact that you can have unlimited submissions is really useful if you're looking for a simple contact form to embed. So then you can easily collect information from people through your Notion site. So this is a really great feature, especially since Notion at the moment doesn't have any form options. So this tool, third-party tool, could be a game changer in that way. And all of these buttons and the text style really works with Notion. So we would recommend this as a really great Notion third-party tool. So the next embed app people requested was Loom. So Loom is a short video clip sharing tool primarily. And what's really good is that it also sort of gives you some sort of transcripts of what's been said. And it's just a very easy to use tool for short video clip sharing. What we like to use it for is if a customer or client has any questions that we want to show using sort of our template, then we can walk them through any troubleshooting through Loom. So we really like Loom for that, especially since just typing an email doesn't always help. And also, for example, if you paste in a lot of pictures in an email, they still might have further questions. And it's also more personal when you send a Loom video. So let's say that you want to add Loom to your website. You could maybe have an FAQ page. So to do that, we could do the same system where we basically duplicate the previous page by clicking the 6 dots here and then duplicate. And that's going to create a new page here, contact page. And then what we can do is instead of contact page, we can change this to FAQ. And we can change the icon to something like a question mark, like this. And frequently asked questions. And then we can delete this one. And then instead we can add a Loom video here. So for example, how do I duplicate Notion templates? And then you could add your video here, for example. So just as a sample, we're going to show you how that would work in Loom. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our browser to show you this. So this is an example that we actually sent to one of our customers. And it was that someone was having trouble adding recurring costs to our ultimate personal finance tracker. So we basically just filmed a quick video how to do it. And it's very nice because you can see sort of these AI features here, and you can see transcript and all kinds of things like that could be really helpful to your customer client. And it can just save a lot of time when you send videos like this. It even does automated chapters, which is really nice as well. So once you're ready and you've sort of filmed your Loom video, you can go ahead and click the copy link button. And if we go back to our Notion, it's going to be embedded inside. So let's go ahead and go back to our Notion. We go back here and we share. So now we're here. So let's say that we wanted to share this Loom. We can paste it in and then we can embed Loom. So it says embed Loom because Notion and Loom are an official integration. So if we click here, it's going to show up differently than, let's say, like a normal integration that is just an embed, but instead it has a little bit more features. So if we sort of make it a little smaller, you can see powered by Loom, all of these, and you can also open it up, copy the link, view comments, and so on inside here. So Loom videos in that sense are really useful for FAQs and answering questions and so on. So let's see if there's anything else. Does anyone have any questions so far about any of the Embed apps? We'll probably add one more page just to round off this simple website, and that could be a simple blog page, for example. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate the FAQ. We're going to duplicate this one, and we'll just move it after contact page. So let's say we wanted a blog here, and then we change this to maybe another pencil or pencil square outline. And here we could have a blog. So a very quick way to add a blog into your Notion page is to simply use gallery view. So if we type /gallery view, you can have something like this, plus new gallery, and this could be a blog. You can go ahead and click here, rename, and then change this to view all like this, and hide database title so it looks a little bit cleaner. And then what you can do is click here to the three dots, go to layout, and then change your card preview to page cover. And then we will delete some of these so that we don't show these. And then basically we can, for example, click one open, add a cover photo, and change cover. We can add something relating to productivity. And we can choose, for example, this picture. And this could be your blog article 1. And then you might want tags such as personal. And instead of created date, we would recommend having a date property. So we're going to delete this one and instead add a date like this. Oh, publish date. And then you could add a date. And inside here, you would simply start typing in your blog article. So for example, heading 1, your title, and you could start typing. So then it would look something like this, and then you can reformat it by going to the three dots here, properties, and then showing the tags and the publish date. So this is a really simple way to create a blog also on your personal website. And we can also go ahead and click the show page icon off. So this is another recent Notion feature, relatively recent, that we like, is that you can now hide this little icon. So now it's gone like this, and you can create more and more blogs like this. So this seems like a pretty good, simple Notion website for now. So we can return home, and then we'll quickly share with you some of the share settings next so that we can show you the final published version. So now that we have this personal website template, we can go ahead and go to the share button, and then we can go to publish. And inside here, if we click publish, it's going to publish to web. So as soon as we click publish, now this is ready to be published to the web. And basically some of the new features that's been added is in this site customization here. So we would recommend you to go here. And then what you can do is basically change the theme from system, light, or dark, which is really great because sometimes you might design your website to be great on dark mode, but it doesn't look good on light mode and vice versa. The next thing you can do is change the favicon so you can upload your own image. And then there's also the header. So if we click here, there's also a lot of other customizations you can do. And you can choose to keep your breadcrumbs, which we might recommend for websites so it's easier to navigate. You can choose to keep your search. Then there's the duplicate as template. If you're publishing this publicly and you don't need it to be duplicated, we would recommend you to turn this one off. And unfortunately, you can't disable the Notion watermark until you have published it on a custom domain. So that's another great reason to use a custom domain so that you can remove the build with Notion, this kind of thing, and then it's more personalized. Then we have the navigation, and this part's exciting because now you can add up to 5 pages that are here, all on top here. So we could add the blog, we could add the FAQ, we could add the contact page, and we could add the calendar. So now we have 4 pages here, and it's very easy to navigate because it's always at the top of the page like this. Then you can publish changes, and we can check a bit more what we have. So the other thing you can do is turn on search engine indexing. And when you do that, you can actually change the link title and description, how it shows up, for example, on the web when people search for it. So this can also be great for a website you want indexed. Then there's also link expiration. In this case, you might not need this because if it is a personal website, you would want it to stay active. So now what we can do is click this link to see the website. And one more thing before we see the website that we wanted to show you real quick is that you can change the domain here. So if we click here and then you go to manage all domains, you can see the various pages that you have already published, and you can also click new domain. And if you wanted to add your custom domain, you would click custom domain. And it is $10 a month to have a custom domain connected to your Notion site, but it could really add some personalized elements to it. So this is something we also recommend. If not, you can also customize your Notion site so that it's a little more personalized as well. So now let's actually go and check out the final version, and you can also see how the embed apps work in a published version. So we're going to go ahead and copy the site link. And let's go ahead and go to our browser. So now we're in the browser, we can go ahead and just paste in the page to see what someone visiting the website would see. So basically we have our top links here, so you can easily access various pages, the FAQ with the Loom video. You can go to a contact page where you can enter details like this and submit it. You can also see the calendars that we added. So if it's Notion calendar, it would look like this. If it's your Google Calendar, it would look something like this. And then you can see that it's also connected on the left-hand navigation bar as well. So you can easily return home. And basically our Gumroad embed here also works like this. So you can easily click here and even purchase items through the website. So this is basically a very quick tutorial on creating a Notion site. You can do a lot more with this. And we just wanted to also show you a few examples of that we have available. But as you can see, there's a lot that can be done, and it's really quite exciting how much you can create with Notion sites. So if we go ahead and go back to our Notion, and we go to Let's Build. Basically, if you want more features, we do have a 40% discount with July 40 during checkout. And we're currently working on a lot more website Notion templates at the moment. But we do have two premium ones, which are our portfolio website Notion template and our digital product landing page Notion template. We'll leave the link to those in the chat, so you can check those out. And yeah, we also have dedicated videos available for them so that you can see exactly what's included and what kind of features there are. In particular, we'll just show you one of them really quickly. So if we copy link to this one and then go to our browser. So here you can see one of our samples. So in this case, what we did was we also added a navigation here so that it's very easy to access. And also because we have so many pages, it kind of makes sense that we have the quick links here as well. And we also can show you a bit about the testimonial page. So we've embedded Senja here. We also have a portfolio, blog, and an about me. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out those templates that we have available. And if we go back to our event page, we'll go to the next section. So feel free to now ask any questions you might have about Notion sites or Notion, and we'll start answering those questions, both on YouTube and in our Zoom event. So already I see here, how much does Notion website cost? So Notion website is pretty much free to use, but all of the extra features, such as the custom domain, can cost something extra. For example, the custom domain is, I think, $10 a month to add. And the plus feature on Notion can also add you some more further customizations. But if you're just looking for the basic Notion website, it's free to create. So we highly recommend you to just try it out and see if it works for you. Someone asked, what is link expiration? So link expiration is basically when the link expires and the website is no longer active. When you turn that on, it's great also, for example, if you're sharing a page for a limited time and you don't want that page to be shared publicly after a certain point. So that's what we would recommend for link expiration. For example, if it's a job posting or something and you know that it expires at a certain date, you can simply turn it off. What are breadcrumbs? So breadcrumbs are basically a navigation system. You can also see on Notion, so with the slash mark here, so you can really see what page belongs to what page and how the pages interact with each other. So if you click, for example, this one, it goes back to create a website with Notion, which includes the page Q&A. So you can trace your breadcrumbs back to the home page. How many domains can I add in? So for the domains, as far as I know, I don't think there's any limits if it is a custom domain. Maybe Anne can correct me if I'm wrong. But with the Notion.site, you cannot customize that one endlessly. So you might want to sort of be strategic about what kind of Notion.site you can use. Okay, so anyone have any further questions here? Thank you so much, Maggie, for joining. Great. So now we're going to go next to our freebie download page. So, yeah, be sure to use our discount code July40 during checkout if you're interested in any of our premium Notion website templates. We also have a lot on our store as well of other templates as well, so be sure to check those out. We're going to be sending a huge package after this event, so stay tuned, of free resources. We're currently compiling a huge list of third-party embed apps that you can use inside of Notion so that it can be a quick guide for everyone. So check your mailbox if you're subscribed to this. And finally, get started with Notion with our freebies. We'll be sharing the link to our freebies in the chat, and be sure to download them. We love helping people getting started with Notion, so we think that this is kind of a great collection to get started with. And we also offer one-on-one coaching sessions, and each session includes a short free consultation. So feel free to come chat with us if you're unsure. But yeah, we love helping people out with Notion and trying to figure out systems that work. If you have any questions or comments after this event is over, feel free to contact us at theorganizednotebook.info@gmail.com. So thank you so much for everyone for joining today, and we hope you stay tuned for the next event.